Hey everybody, Dan LaBert, CEO of NAILBA here. Thank you for joining us for NAILBA 40, our hybrid version, as we continue with our executive spotlight. Joining me today is Tim Heslin, President, U.S. Life Insurance for AIG. Tim, welcome to NAILBA and our brokerage in motion.
Thanks for having me, Dan. It's great to be here today.
Awesome. Hey, for those who do not know you, and just so we can get warmed up here, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? I know you've been in several different positions with AIG.
Sure, great. So I grew up in upstate New York, and I've been in the industry now for 24 years, 22 of which have been with AIG. Held a number of different positions at AIG of increasing responsibility. So most of my work has been on the product side. I came into the business as an actuary. I've long forgotten how to be an actuary, but
some may say that's a compliment. Some may say that's a compliment.
Yeah. So I won't say that in front of my actuarial friends, but anyway. So a lot of my jobs lately have been more on the business side. I ran product and underwriting for the business, and previously before that, I was responsible for our life businesses in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So it's been a pleasure to work at AIG, and it's a pleasure to be here today and talk with you.
Well, we appreciate it. AIG is a big supporter of NAILBA. They're a big supporter of independent distribution. And as we say, one of our partners that as AIG goes, so does the market. So really pleasure to talk with you as well. So I'll jump right into the questions. And, lots of movement at AIG over the past year. Lots of great things happening, given the pandemic world. But what do you see as AIG's life and retirement signature accomplishments over the past year in specifically the life insurance space?
Sure. Thanks, Dan. And, before I go into that, I'd be remiss if I just didn't thank all the financial professionals that are watching this today. The loss of life over the past year or so has been quite tragic. But the great work all of you do every day makes sure that the survivors are financially secure. And it really helps show what a tremendous role life insurance plays in society. So I just want to start by saying thank you for what you do every day. And, it's been a year of transition, as you say. And, the one thing that always comes to the top of my mind is digital. We probably saw a decade's worth of digital advancement in a year, and it was out of necessity. And I think I don't think the pace necessarily is here to stay, but I think digital advancement is absolutely going to continue. And we were like many other in the industry when it came to this. And, first of all, I want to thank AIG for all the investments that they had made. And because of that, we had thousands of our colleagues that were able to work from home, work remotely seamlessly, and definitely to ensure that all of your customers were serviced appropriately, along with all of you, that we are continuing to support you and everything that you do. And along those lines, for a lot of our distributors, so we had an event, a weather event a couple of years ago in Houston, Hurricane Harvey, where everyone that was in Houston had to work remotely for 9 months to a year. And so we were somewhat used to this remote work, but a lot of our distribution partners were not. They had never worked remotely before. So what we wanted to do is take all those learnings that we had and help our distribution partners. What could they do? What does this new world look like? How can they continue with their businesses? So we had a number of items that we put online, along with conversations that we had directly, to make sure that we are supporting everyone. And the last thing I'd like to comment on is the optionality that we provided for our end customers. So we had very gracious lapse provisions that we put in place during the pandemic because a lot of people had lost their job. We put a lot of digital platforms, like I said, like e-signatures in place to facilitate the sale. And then last but not least, for people that had to get a medical exam, many people weren't comfortable having someone come into their home. So we enabled people to go into different lab sites and have their lab tests completed, which allowed them some additional security from the virus. So I do hope the worst of this is behind us at this point. I've actually traveled a couple times in the past month, which is nice. And so I'm really looking forward to this new hybrid model that we'll have coming forward.
It's exciting, right? There is, we talked about disruption, and our disruption arrived, and the industry pivoted well. But, one of the points you made there about AIG having some experience of moving their workforce to remote, and obviously some of the digital initiatives. I mean, that clearly has allowed you guys to put some benchmarks in place on your performance, on your data, probably the best way to put it. So, with that in mind, how are you assessing, life distribution initiatives that were utilized to help the company realize your objectives in the past year?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And we're very fortunate that we have a broad distribution network. We've been a proud supporter of NAILBA for a number of years. And the one item I would say a couple of years ago, Dan, we were very much a face-to-face wholesaling organization. Because of COVID, we went much more of a virtual model. And what it allowed us to do, and what we saw, is maybe there's a better way we can start to segment and talk with our customers. Some of our customers might prefer us now to be more virtual. Some of our customers might want us to be a little bit more face-to-face. They may say, okay, if you're going to do this with us, maybe we do that virtual, but the high impact, let's make sure that we're continuing to do that face-to-face. And so as we come out, our distribution team's been allowed to travel a little bit more frequently than those of us that are in the home office. We're starting to put that in place. What's that new hybrid framework look like with distribution? What do our customers want from us? Where are we going to add the most value to our customers when we are having those face-to-face meetings? And so we're still evolving through this, but the one thing that we have learned is we can't go back to what we're doing. That is not optimal. That's not what our customers want. And so that's absolutely what we're doing, is how do we transition? And there might be a couple bumps along the way. We might say, hey, we should have done this virtual, and we try it and it doesn't work. And the same thing vice versa with face-to-face. There are going to be some learnings, but it's evolving this model so that we can be as effective as we can for all of you as you go and service your customers.
Tim, that's a lot of times meeting your clients where they need to be met, right? I mean, the in-person versus the virtual, there are efficiencies on some, there are benefits on others. I mean, there's no doubt AIG has a first-class team. We always enjoy interacting with your team, but I want to dive into something that you said about you can't go back. So if you can't go back, what is the financial professional of the future then, right? If we're done looking in the rearview mirror, what are we looking at through the windshield for the financial professional?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. And so, I mentioned, Dan, that I've been traveling over the past couple of weeks, and I've actually met with some producers face-to-face. I mean, it's nice. It's been a year and a half, so it's fantastic. Got out and meet people. And so what I've been asking them is, how are you transacting business these days? And it's amazing to me. Some people that will say, this retail producer, I am 100% digital. I never meet with any of my clients. And if you would ask me, would someone be transacting business that way 3 years ago? Would they be doing that today? I would have said, absolutely not. No way could someone do 100% of their business that way. Now, I think that's an extreme case. I don't think everyone could be successful doing it that way. And then also, just like us with our customers, for all of you with your customers, different generations respond to that better than others. So the millennial generations like to have much more digital, texting, all of that contact, whereas some, maybe more the baby boomer type generation, likes that face-to-face contact. So what I think is going to happen is it's very much going to be a hybrid model, but what's going to be the foundation for that is utilizing digital. So even if you're going face-to-face, utilizing digital to be as effective as you can, because there's still, you hear different numbers all the time. Limmer might throw out 60 million underinsured and uninsured individuals in the US. You might hear this $12 trillion protection gap. The reason for it is it's hard to get to all those people. Well, the digital can enable you to be much more effective in your business so you can get to more people and help them have the financial security of all your other customers. And so to me, I think it's going to be a hybrid of the way that you actually meet with someone, but it's really utilizing the digital behind the scenes that's going to make people as effective as possible.
Great points. And the emphasis on digital moves the advisor's mindset of maybe selling life insurance that day from number 4 to maybe number 2 or number 1 because of the accessibility. So therefore, that 60 million uninsured and underinsured, in theory, has a roadmap to have that gap closed. Okay, so I got one more thing. You said your team's traveling in person. You know, the NAILBA annual meeting's coming up. You know, President, U.S. Life Insurance for AIG. Will I see you at NAILBA 40 this year?
You will see me, Dan. I have my ticket and I have my reservation at the hotel. Unfortunately, my schedule is busy, so I'm not going to be able to stay through the week. But I will be there Monday and Tuesday at NAILBA. I already have a number of people that have set up appointments with me, but I will absolutely be around the hotel and around the exhibit hall to try to meet as many people as possible. And I'm really looking forward to it.
That's fantastic. And I tricked you there with a little bit of a curveball, but NAILBA represents a lot of distribution, a lot of your distribution, and candidly, you know, we want them to have access to all of the people they do business with. So great, you'll be there. I look forward to meeting you in person. And once again, I want to thank you and AIG for their continued support of NAILBA and all of independent distribution, all of the IMOs and everyone else out there. So thank you so much. And again, Tim Heslin, President, U.S. Life Insurance for AIG. Tim, we'll see you at NAILBA 40.
Thank you. See you there.